Hey everyone, it's Ben Hardy here, and in today's video we're reviewing the 4Runner SR5 with the third row. This is the best family SUV you can buy. I'll explain in today's video. Before we get in this video, I want to give a huge shout out and thank you to the Large Miller Toyota here in Murray for giving me some time with this 4Runner. I'm going to put a link to their website in the description down below. Also, I'm going to put a link to my car buying guide. Let's get into it. Under the hood of the 4Runner is a turbo 2.4 liter 4-cylinder that goes through an 8-speed. It puts out 278 horsepower and then 317 pound-feet of torque. Fuel economy is 19 around town and then 25 on the highway. Before we move forward with this review, I do want to mention if you want to see more videos just like this, then I recommend you subscribe because I post content every single day. Now you can see the hood is raised there on either side, and I really like this silver paint. It pops quite a bit, especially with the other elements we'll go over in a little bit. Anyways, got the new headlight design, which I think looks really sharp. Now, the only thing that I'm not a huge fan of is the chrome Toyota logo. I'll explain a little bit later on that. Got the fog lights down below and then air dam. It's easy to remove the air dam. Now, this does still come with recovery points, so you could do some trail recovery with this, no problem. Our tire wheel setup is 245 by 70 by 17, and so 17-inch wheels, great. The tires, that's one of the easiest modifications to do. Just throw some all-terrain tires on this and you turn it into an off-road machine. Now I've got these giant fender flares here, as you can see, a little splash guard down below. We've got the fixed side steps on this, and then you can see the SR5 badge there. We also have nice crossbars up top, and here's your side profile. Now this does have a slightly more basic Toyota key fob. It doesn't have the cool 4Runner logo like the more loaded up versions do, but it still has lock and unlock, and you've got the buttons here to raise and lower the rear glass, so just hold that down and that will lower that down, and then you can hold it up to raise up the rear glass, which is a nice feature. Now you've got the bronze Toyota logo here in the back. That's why I said the front logo, I don't like the chrome. It should be bronze like the back one, because it has the package for the back to be bronze. Now you can see we've got tons of storage here. Something to note, if you get the 4Runner without the third row, it actually sits like, you can see the storage area here. That's how low the whole load floor sits, is a little bit lower. If you get it with the third row, it does raise the load floor a little bit, but it's still not as bad as the hybrid, which raises it even more. Now I've been in the back of the 4Runner with the third row, and you can see that you actually have quite a bit of space here in the back. It does push your legs up a little bit, and you have a solid rear axle, but very usable for kids. So it is a nice setup there in the back, and they've got cup holders and everything. Again, it's more basic. It's an SR5, but it's more than enough. The rear hatch is, of course, manual there. Got the blacked out 4Runner logo. Got the new taillight design there, too. And overall, I think that the SR5 is a really good looking vehicle. Looks just like a Tier off-road, basically. Now if we pop into the rear, you actually still get nice padding here, even in the SR5, so it feels a little more premium that way. Got your little seat adjustment there. Cloth seats. This cloth feels very durable, really high quality, which is nice. And actually stepping in, good room here in the back. We also have vents here in the rear, USB ports as well. And then overall headroom is pretty good. Again, you're pushed up a bit because it's a body-on-frame SUV, but it's big enough. And then this leads us up front, where, again, you've got the soft touch trim, all of our window controls, mirror adjustments, blind spot with the mirrors. 1,160 pounds of payload capacity, so that's a decent chunk. And then look at these front seats. Again, very durable feeling cloth trim. It is manually adjustable. Got that for the stability control, and then you can see the steering wheel is manually adjustable. And let's start her up. So, Toyota logo front and center on the steering wheel. We've got controls for the center, volume, voice command controls as well. Adaptive cruise control with lane centering, and then just nice trim around the steering wheel in general, even on the SR5 here. And then you can see the regular stocks there on the back. And then with the gauge cluster itself, you've got that digital element in the center, but then kind of, I mean, it's still digital on the other sides, but it's kind of more analog looking-ish. It's not as like full screen as you get in the more loaded up packages, but again, it has everything that you need information-wise. Just a backup camera in reverse, don't need anything else, right? And then as for the infotainment system, you can see it responds oh, I have to do, oh no, I did it right. It responds relatively quickly. It's got a little volume control. It's not as big as the larger units, but again, you don't need that much, right? Got storage above the glove box, got the glove box itself, and then we have our single zone climate with this nice finish on the controls down below. Some USB ports for charging. Shifter here for the 8-speed. And then this is still a truck, so we still have a 2-speed transfer case. You've got tow haul mode, and then you've got your general drive mode, which is for some on-road modes. Got some cup holders here, center console's got good space. Very durable trim on the top there. That's for the power sliding rear window, and then no center for anything like that. We don't need that fancy stuff here. Now this leads us to the pricing with this. So SR5, $42,770 is the base MSRP. The third row is actually not crazy expensive, $770. I think it's worth it. $46,935 is the total MSRP. So this is less than $50,000, and it's got a lot of utility with it. Let's take it out and sum things up. SR5 with the third row. Now I had a chance to do a walk around one of these, but I didn't have a chance to drive an SR5 with the third row, so I just want to see if it, you know, feels any different. I don't think it should, because it's not like it's adding that much weight, but we'll still check it out. I really do think this is actually one of the most unique vehicles we have in the US right now, believe it or not. I know it's just a 4Runner, right? But it actually has quite a bit going for it that other automakers aren't offering. So, first off, with the SR5, again, being a more basic vehicle means that, well, there's just less stuff inside. So, it weighs less, which is a positive. And the tires being narrower from the factory means there's less mass to move around on that front, and so it actually, this engine feels pretty good with these tires. Once you move up to the 265 width that are in the Tier D off-roads, it does feel like the engine has to work a little bit harder. It's not bad, it just has to work a little bit harder. Yeah, the torque on this four-cylinder is actually quite impressive. It produces a lot of torque at very low RPMs. Like a lot of four-cylinders, they just, you know, rev right up to redline. You can't really hold the RPMs like you can on this, where it will just give you a pretty good amount of torque at, you know, right under 3,000, which is still like not the lowest RPM amount on the planet, but it ain't bad. It ain't bad at all. Now the SR5 just drives like a truck, right? It's body on frame, solid rear axle, independent front suspension, so like the turn in on the front's nice. And you know what you feel as the driver, because it's got a decent wheelbase, 112 inches, is a pretty comfortable ride. Now in the back, over the solid rear axle, it's going to be a little bit of a bumpier ride. Character building, right? Character building. Not the worst thing on the planet. Not bad at all, actually. Yeah, the torque on this is super impressive. The hybrid's obviously better, but SR5 you're not going to get with the hybrid. And you can't get the third row with the hybrid anyways. So why is this the best family car? There's no other vehicle that I can think of in the US market that is less than $50,000 with a third row, a 2-speed transfer case, and body on frame. Seriously, like, and why is that all important? First off, a third row, right? Well, if it's a family car, you're going to want to be able to seat as many people as you possibly can. That's kind of the name of the game. And then when it comes to body on frame, why would you want that? Well, body on frame does mean that the ride quality and the handling is not going to be quite as good as a unibody vehicle, right? It's not as rigid, but it's a lot more durable. When you've got a body on frame construction, the frame can take all the abuse, and the body, it's a little bit more isolated. It's still going to get beat up here and there, but like you can see over the bump, you know, it moves more than an independent suspension vehicle, but you don't get that shudder you get in an independent suspension vehicle, where you get the transfer straight into, against unibody, so it goes through all of it. So durability is better. Having the solid rear axle, yeah, it's gonna make it so it's not as comfortable, and you're gonna have things pushed up in the back, but you get more articulation for off-roading. And this is where I think we need to go back to the whole family vehicle thing. I think a family vehicle is more than just moving people around. It should also have some utility to it. This can tow as well. Most SUVs in this segment can tow, so that's not like a huge thing that's unique to the 4Runner. But you put some all-terrain tires on this, and this, because this has a 2-speed transfer case, you can go off-road. You can do tons of off-roading. And so this is a vehicle that you can take the kids to school, you can do your commuting with it, you can do grocery shopping with it, you can pick up your kids' friends, and you can go on family camping trips and have no stress because you've got a 2-speed transfer case, 4-wheel drive system. So you'll be able to get up stuff, no problem. Again, most of the camping trails and everything are not super difficult terrain, and this is going to be able to last longer than the other vehicles that you'd get at this price point with a third row because it's not unibody. Unibody really starts to, like, think about this for a second. How many unibody vehicles do you see people still driving around that have over 200,000 miles? You don't. What do you see that has over 200,000 miles? Trucks. Why is that? Because the vehicle is not falling apart, right? If you take care of any vehicle, right, it's going to last long. But trucks, because of that isolation, they're just more durable long term. And so you think about if you use this for off-roading and daily driving and hauling around kids, that's a lot of pressure on the vehicle. But it has the durability to deal with it. So that's why I think this is super underrated, and I think this is probably the best family car that you could go for. 3-row 4Runner SR5. It's also basic, so like if your kids get it messed up, it's a basic vehicle. So that's my thoughts.